Hi everyone, my name is Ray from Ray Life Coaching, and I want to share a little bit about my coming out story, and not just in terms of my identity, but also in terms of my mental health and stress. When people hear coming out, they often picture it as one single moment. They say the words, tell the world they're LGBTQ plus or polyamorous, non-binary, or whatever your truth is, and that's it. But for me, coming out has never been one moment. It's been a practice. It's something I've had to choose again and again, showing up honestly and learning how to not shrink myself. What I didn't realize for years was how heavy it is to live in hiding. I was so used to people pleasing, apologizing, and bending myself into what I thought others needed that stress became my baseline. My body told the truth, though. Chronic pain, tension headaches, constant anxiety. I thought I was coping, but really, I was surviving under the weight of not being fully me. And this is something many of us know in our bones. When we suppress who we are, our nervous system stays stuck in fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Hypervigilance, shallow breathing, tight muscles, our bodies hold the cost of pretending. Outwardly, we may look composed and even smile or even giggle. Inwardly, we're totally exhausted. When I finally began to come out, not just to others, but first to myself, the change wasn't instant. It was awkward, messy, and full of trial and error. But little by little, I realized confidence wasn't about being fearless or unshakable. Confidence was about giving myself permission to stop apologizing for who I was. Every time I spoke my truth about being non-binary, about loving more than one person, about wanting something different from the norm, my body relaxed, my shoulders softened, my breath came easier. Coming out wasn't just identity, it was stress relief. It was setting down a weight I didn't need to carry anymore. Along the way, I developed tools that I now teach through my coaching practice. They're grounded in neuroscience, integrated attachment theory, consent work like Wheel of Consent, and nonviolent communication. Here are 3 that support my mental health the most, so let me tell them to you now so that maybe you can take a little bit from this. So number 1 is taking inventory. Where are you starting from? We need to know that before moving forward. And a lot of us, that's the most uncomfortable part. So this means pausing to notice what's happening inside your body, being really present, using your sensations, your body sensations, even smell, taste, all of that is really helpful. But then going into, is there tightness in my body anywhere? A knot in my stomach, tightness in my chest. These sensations connect to emotions. And so connecting then the sensation of your body into an emotion is a really great practice. You can do this at any time of the day so that when you're practicing it regularly, when a really hard moment comes up, you can go to it really quickly. Now, stress is often just a signal of unmet needs. And if you don't know already, if your core needs aren't being met, you will never feel fulfilled in life. So obviously, this is really important. Your emotions and your sensations are signaling to you, hey, there's something off, and it might trigger you to then do something that is going to try to meet that need as quickly as possible. Of course, it'll do it in a way kind of like eating sugar for energy, right? It's going to give it to you right away. It's going to feel really good and you're going to crash and you don't have anything to sustain it. So we want to sustain it. And that's the tools that I give you and teach you in the confidence coming out process. So take inventory. Knowing your emotions and your sensations is, first off, the most important thing. And I think it's actually the hardest thing for us because it's the reason why we ignore what's going on. We want to just shove those down, pretend they don't exist. oh, I don't want to be in the discomfort or uncomfortable at all. The reality is if you do that, you'll never get to knowing why you do what you do that's not actually fulfilling the thing you want. Why do you keep on getting those relationships or whatever it is? Not enough money, whatever it is. Um, it starts there. Okay. So number 2 is containerizing, which is really boundaries. Instead of letting conflict or emotions sprawl endlessly, I learned to give them clear beginnings and endings. For example, I can talk about this for 20 minutes and then I need a break. You can set parameters for yourself. It doesn't have to be all at once. It doesn't have to be this long drawn out thing. It can just be for 5 minutes. I'm allowing myself to have some grief right now. I'm gonna sit here every morning and just allow myself to experience an emotion that's probably going to come up later today. But if I really am present, I'm going to give myself this time so that not only can I understand it, but maybe it won't come up again in the same way in this big outburst, right? I'll know myself a little better. That kind of container prevents overwhelm and restores a sense of safety. Also brings control back into your life. Like you can set a little bit of your own parameters. Affirmations, this is number 3, is reprogramming beliefs. So many of my deepest stresses came from ingrained messages like, you'll be alone if you stand up for your boundaries, or you'll be trapped if you admit you hurt someone, or you'll feel helpless if you let go of some control here. Affirmations gave me a way to challenge those messages, not by just repeating something positive, but by drawing on my own memories and experiences. They helped me disprove what wasn't fully true and reclaim a belief system that supported confidence and authenticity. So how do you do that? Well, you think back to a memory of like, okay, let's say if I think that I'll be alone if I stand up for my boundaries. We set boundaries every day. We walk, we decide to go to work. That's a boundary. We decide to wake up. That's a boundary. We decide not to put on that particular clothes today because X, Y, and Z. That's a boundary. The decisions we make are boundaries. We are telling ourselves and others what we are willing to do and not do by our decisions. Just think of it like that. Boundaries are not that complicated. But think about things that you decide to do or don't do that actually serve you, that don't leave you feeling alone, right? If anything, they might serve you to feel more connected. Think of those things. Think of at least 10 of them on a daily basis, especially if you feel alone a lot or if you feel trapped. When do you make decisions that make you feel free? You probably do a lot of them, like going for a bike ride with a friend or, going for a trip, whatever it is. When you make decisions, specifically try to think of things that make you feel trapped, but then you do it in a certain way that actually made you feel pretty good. Like, I can do that. Okay, so these tools aren't about becoming someone new. They're about returning to yourself, like the memories, right? Those are you, with less tension, less fear, and more ease, and feeling a little bit more control in your decision making, in your life. What I've learned is that confidence is not showing that you're perfect. Not about being the loudest person in the room either. It's about belonging to you. And when you belong to yourself, you don't need to over-explain, over-apologize, show that you have all these things and that you're perfect or have it together, or chase validation. You can rest in the truth. I'm allowed to be here exactly as I am. And if that doesn't feel good, I can still be here feeling uncomfortable. I can still be here vulnerable. However, I need to do that in a way that is safe for me. That kind of confidence isn't just good for your mental health, it's essential. Stress begins to dissolve when we're no longer fighting ourselves. Loneliness loosens when we know our own company is enough. But also, our own company is that humanness that is frail, and frailty is okay and actually really strong. Coming out then isn't just about identity, it becomes medicine for the nervous system. So if you're listening to this and you feel the weight of hiding, please know you're not broken for feeling stressed, anxious, or lonely. You're carrying something heavy, and there is another way. Each time you come out, whether in a big declaration or a small choice, you set down part of that weight. Confidence isn't about becoming fearless, it's about breathing more fully, living more honestly, being more present, and belonging to yourself so deeply that you can meet the world without shrinking. And that, I believe, is the truest form of stress relief there is. So if this resonates with you, please check out my website at raylifecoaching.com. I have free resources page that you can get some of the work for free and a weekly guidance email that goes through one part of the confident coming out process just for you for free. And I would love it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel at Ray Life Coaching. Thank you so much. Have a great day.